tub is installed incorrectly. The top of the tub should be level, and it's not. It's pitching to the back. I have to make this first row perfectly level on top. So in 2 feet, it's almost 3/8 of an inch off. So that means every tile here going across the tub, I'm going to have to cut on an angle. All right, that's just the way it is. All right, I have this large square, so you can see that I've got it laid out, so I'm going to be cutting this on an angle. It's 3/8 of an inch. And let me get these cut so that I can start installing. As you can see, I'm doing the layout, and I do a plumb line and a level line. Even though I have the laser, I still put a pencil line there just so that I can check where it's going, just by sight rather than keep using my tape measure. Being I'm having to cut these down, I had to bring my line down, and I dry fit them first to make sure everything's looking good before I apply the mud. This makes it a lot easier to check and to be able to do this quickly. All right, now that I feel comfortable with the layout, I'm going to go ahead and start my mud. I do the one square at a time, and you can see I take away some of the mud that's closest to the edge so that it doesn't come through the joints. I take it away from the tile also. This way everything gets set, and there's a lot less cleanup doing it this way. Now this first one has to go in perfectly level and plumb. And so once you get the first one in and you put the second one, that gives you 4 feet across, because these are 2 foot by 2 foot pieces. They're heavy even with the mud on them, but they're coming out really good. Got to keep it flat. I had to pull it out on the one end a little bit, but it's looking really good. And this takes some time, because now you can only do the first row, and then you have to come back the next day because you need these to sit. They're pretty big and heavy, and don't want anything to come off the wall. So I butter the wall, and then I butter the tile. And it's looking good. I'm feeling really confident with this. You have to put in the extra time to get the first row done correctly. This is how your wall will turn out. If you get the first row wrong, your whole wall will be messed up. So take your time and make sure that everything has been level, plumb, flat. You have to work it all out at this point. You can do it while the mud is wet, and it's easy to move. If you have to do a little shimming, whatever you need to do, this is the time to do it. All right, now we're going to day 2. Okay, I'm checking all my measurements that I did yesterday, cleaning up this area, make sure I don't have any debris there. Now this section here had a gap, so I put some mesh tape there and a waterproofing. And even though I silicone the joints, I'm going to put a little bit more of the waterproofing here in the corner, because if any place will have a leak, it's usually in those flat areas. So we're moving along, and as you can see, the next one, you go in, you make sure that it's plumb. And now I'm spreading enough mud to do the next two. Before I start each day, I cut all the tile that need to be cut for the row that I'm installing. This way I don't have to stop, everything's cut, and I'm able to set them. These are big tile. It is a marble, and they're heavy when the mud is on them. All right, I'm using a 1/16 inch grout joint. I'd like to have some grout joint, but with this, I like it as small as possible. All right, everything's coming out pretty good. I'm really liking this. And again, it's how you start your first row. That's always the trick. If you can do that first row perfectly that you need, and actually, it starts before that. Before the Durock went up, I had to check all the walls and make sure they were plumb. And then that makes this whole process easier. Because then it all matters on how you lay out your mud on each tile. All right, this is the last piece we're putting up today. I want the waterproofing to dry well before I put the next piece up. Okay, this is day 3. I'm going to do this one first because I'm going to try to get the next one on top of this by the end of the day. As I said before, I do all my cuts before I start setting any tile. All right, now this row is a little higher, makes it a little bit more difficult, but everything is still the same. And it's looking pretty good. I think it's turning out very nicely. Today my grandson's here helping me. He's cutting these pieces. He's doing a great job.
Those are the pieces he just cut and polished, and I just set them. He's doing a really good job.
Well, this is the finished product of the 2 foot by 2 foot marble. It came out really nice. All right, hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next one.